She thought love would bring her happiness. Instead, it tore her family apart. When her parents slammed the door on her 15 years ago, she believed she would never see them again. But then, one quiet evening, someone knocked on her door, and everything changed. Before we continue, please write in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. Emily stood in front of her parents' living room, her hands trembling, her heart racing like never before. She was only 19, full of dreams and hope. She thought her family would understand. After all, wasn't love supposed to be beautiful? But the moment she uttered those words, "I'm in love, and I'm going to marry him," the entire room froze. Her father's jaw tightened. Her mother dropped the dish towel from her hands. "Marry him," her father thundered, his voice echoing through the house. "You mean that boy? That boy from the other side of town?" Emily nodded, her eyes pleading. "Dad, please. His name is Ryan. He's kind, he's hard-working, and he loves me enough." He roared, slamming his fist on the table, so hard the glasses rattled. "You are throwing away your life for someone beneath you. We raised you better than this." Emily's mother stepped in, her voice shaky but sharp. "Emily, listen to your father. That boy is not from our world. He can't give you the life you deserve. People will talk. Our friends, our family, what will they think?" But Emily wasn't backing down. Her love for Ryan was pure, unshakable. "I don't care what people think. I love him, and I'm going to marry him." For a long, tense moment, the room was silent except for the sound of Emily's heartbeat pounding in her ears. Then her father spoke, his words cold and final. "If you walk out that door, to be with him, don't ever come back." Emily's breath caught in her throat. "Dad, please," but he turned away. Her mother refused to meet her eyes. In that moment, Emily realized the truth. Her family would never accept Ryan, tears streaming down her face. She packed a small bag, took one last look at the home she grew up in, and left. That night, as she stood on Ryan's porch, shivering in the cold, she whispered, "They're gone. They disowned me." Ryan wrapped his arms around her and promised, "You're not alone. We'll build our own family, I promise." And they did. For years, Emily and Ryan struggled, but stayed together. They worked long hours, lived in a tiny apartment, and slowly built a life. Eventually, they welcomed a daughter, Lily, their ray of sunshine. But even with all the happiness, a part of Emily's heart remained broken. Every birthday, every Christmas, every milestone. She wished her parents were there. She wrote letters, but never sent them. She hoped, one day, they would come around. But that day never came. 15 years passed. 15 long years without a single call, a single message. Emily believed they had forgotten her completely. Until that evening. The evening when Lily was helping her bake cookies, and a knock sounded at the door. Emily froze. No one ever came unannounced. Heart pounding, she walked to the door, wiped her flour-covered hands, and opened it. Her breath caught in her throat. Standing there, older, grayer, but unmistakable, were her parents. Emily's knees went weak. For a moment, she thought she was imagining things. 15 years had passed without a single word. And now, here they were. Her father, once so strong and intimidating, looked older. His broad shoulders stooped under the weight of time. Her mother's eyes, which once held judgment, were now red and swollen, as if she had been crying for hours. Emily's voice cracked. "Mum, Dad?" Her mother's lips trembled. "Emily," she whispered, tears slipping down her cheeks. Lily appeared behind Emily, her small hands clutching the edge of her mother's sweater. "Mummy, who's at the door?" Emily swallowed hard, forcing a shaky smile for her daughter. "Sweetheart, go wash your hands. Mummy will be right there." Lily hesitated, her curious eyes darting to the strangers at the door. Then slowly walked back toward the kitchen. Emily turned back to her parents, her heart pounding in her chest. "Why are you here?" Her voice was sharper than she intended, but 15 years of silence had left scars that words could never erase. Her father lowered his gaze. "Emily, we need to talk." Emily's stomach twisted. "Talk? After all this time. After you turned your back on me when I needed you the most. Her mother reached out a trembling hand. We made a mistake. A terrible mistake. We thought we were protecting you. But we were wrong. Emily stepped back, anger bubbling inside her. Wrong. You called my love a disgrace. You told me to never come back. Do you have any idea what that did to me? Her father's eyes glistened with unshed tears, something Emily had never seen before. Every day we regretted it. Every single day. Emily wanted to scream, to tell them that their regret came 15 years too late. But before she could speak, her mother said something that stopped her cold. Emily, we're not just here to apologize. We need your help. Emily blinked. Help? What are you talking about? Her father looked away, his jaw clenched. Her mother's voice broke as she spoke. It's your brother, Michael. He's missing. The words hit Emily like a punch to the gut. Michael, her little brother, the one who used to follow her everywhere, the one who cried the night she left. The brother she hadn't seen since he was a teenager. Emily gripped the doorframe to steady herself. Missing? What do you mean missing? He got involved with the wrong people, her father said, his voice heavy with shame. We've searched everywhere, but we can't find him. And we were told you might be the only one who can help. Emily stared at them, disbelief flooding her. After everything, after cutting her out of their lives, now they wanted her help. Why? Me, she whispered. Her mother's eyes filled with desperation. Because, before he disappeared, Michael mentioned your name. He said you were the only person he could trust. Emily felt her heart crack open. All the anger, all the pain, and now, this. Her brother, the only family member who loved her unconditionally, was in danger. She glanced back toward the kitchen, where Lily was humming softly. Completely unaware of the storm brewing at the front door, Emily looked at her parents, her voice low but trembling. If this is some trick, if you're lying to me, her father shook his head fiercely. We're not lying. Please, Emily, we need you. Emily's breath quickened. She didn't know what to believe, but deep down, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Fear. For her brother. For herself. For the family she thought she had lost forever. She stepped aside, her voice barely above a whisper. Come in. As her parents crossed the threshold, Emily had no idea that letting them inside would change everything. And that the truth about Michael was darker than she could ever imagine. Emily closed the door behind her parents, her heart pounding so loudly it drowned out every other sound. She had imagined this moment countless times over the years, what she would say, what she would do if they ever came back. None of those scenarios prepared her for this. Her mother sat on the edge of the couch, twisting a tissue in her hands. Her father remained standing, arms folded, eyes darting nervously toward the window, as if expecting someone to follow them. Emily crossed her arms, keeping her distance. Start talking. Everything now. Her father hesitated, then spoke in a low, tense voice. Michael, he changed after you left. He got into trouble, fell in with people who promised him easy money. We tried to pull him out, but he wouldn't listen. Emily's throat tightened. She could picture Michael's mischievous grin. The way he used to sneak cookies from the jar and swear he hadn't. How could that boy have ended up in danger like this? What kind of trouble? Emily demanded. Her mother's voice cracked. He borrowed money. From people you don't want to owe. When he couldn't pay, they started threatening him, and then, he disappeared. Emily stared at them, disbelief and anger colliding inside her. You're telling me my brother is missing because of loan sharks? Her father shook his head. It's worse than that. These aren't just loan sharks. They're dangerous. They've got connections everywhere. And now, they've started calling us. Emily felt her blood run cold. Calling you? What do they want? They want the money back, her father said grimly. Or something else. Emily's stomach knotted. Something else. Those words lingered in the air like poison. Before she could ask what that meant, Lily came bounding into the room, holding a plate of cookies. Grandma, Grandpa, do you want some cookies? Her mother's eyes softened, tears pooling as she looked at her granddaughter for the first time. "Sweetheart, you've grown so big." Emily's protective instincts kicked in. She rushed to Lily, taking the plate from her hands. "Sweetheart, go to your room for a bit, okay? Mummy needs to talk to Grandma and Grandpa." Lily looked confused but nodded and skipped down the hall. Emily waited until her daughter's door closed before spinning back to her parents, her voice fierce. "You keep your voices down. Don't you dare drag my child into this mess. Tell me everything." Now, her father raked a hand through his gray hair. "We think they're watching us, following us. That's why we came here, because if they know about Michael, they might." "Know about you?" Emily froze. "Me? Why would they care about me?" Her mother's hands trembled as she clutched the tissue, because before Michael vanished, he left something behind. A note. Emily's heart thudded in her chest. What kind of note? Her father pulled a folded piece of paper from his jacket and handed it to her. Emily unfolded it slowly, her hands shaking. The note was written in Michael's familiar scrawl. If anything happens to me, protect Lily. They want something I have. And if they can't find me, they'll come for you." Emily's vision blurred as she read those words over and over. Protect Lily. She looked up, her voice barely a whisper. "He knew about Lily." Her mother nodded. "We told him. After you left, he always asked about you. He never stopped caring." Emily sank onto the chair, her mind spinning. What do they want? What does Michael have? Her father's jaw tightened. "We don't know. But whatever it is, they'll kill for it." Emily's pulse raced. She glanced toward the hallway where Lily's laughter echoed faintly from her room. For the first time in years, Emily felt true, bone-deep fear, not for herself, but for her child. And then came the sound that froze her blood. A knock, sharp, loud, at the door. Her parents exchanged a look of sheer terror. Emily turned slowly toward the door, every muscle in her body tensed. Whoever was out there wasn't here for cookies. The knock echoed through the quiet house like a warning bell. Emily's breath caught in her throat. For a moment, no one moved. Then it came again, 3 hard, deliberate knocks that sent a shiver down her spine. Her father whispered, his voice tight, "Don't open it." Emily's heart pounded so loud she thought the visitor could hear it from outside. "Who is it?" she asked, her voice trembling despite her effort to sound calm. Silence. Then a man's voice, deep and steady, "Emily Walker." Her stomach dropped. How did he know her name? Her mother gripped her arm. "Emily, don't." Ignoring her, Emily stepped closer to the door. "Who's asking?" There was a pause. Then, the voice came again, colder this time. "Someone who's looking for your brother." Emily's blood ran cold. "They found her." Before she could respond, the man continued, "We know he came to you. Open the door, and nobody gets hurt." Emily glanced at her parents, their faces pale with terror. Her father shook his head violently. "Don't open it. Whatever you do, don't." Emily's mind raced. She had Lily in the other room. She couldn't let anything happen to her. Trying to steady her voice, Emily said through the door, "Michael's not here." The man laughed, a low, chilling sound that made her skin crawl. "You think I believe that? He left something with you, something that belongs to us." Emily felt her throat tighten. "Something that belongs to us." The note flashed. In her mind, what did Michael have? Her father mouthed, "Call the police." Emily nodded subtly and reached for her phone in her pocket. Before she could dial, the man spoke again, this time, louder. "Last chance, Emily. Open the door, or things will get ugly." Her hands shook so badly, she nearly dropped the phone. She managed to hit 911, but before the operator answered, there was a sound that made her blood freeze, metal scraping against the lock. "They're trying to break in," Emily whispered, panic gripping her chest. Her father sprang into action, grabbing a heavy chair and wedging it under the doorknob. "Emily, take Lily, go now." Emily's heart thundered as she ran to Lily's room. She burst through the door to find her daughter sitting cross-legged on the bed, coloring. Lily looked up, startled. "Mummy, what's happening?" Emily knelt down, trying to keep her voice calm, even as fear clawed at her insides. "Sweetheart, we're going to play a game, okay? We're going to hide." Lily frowned. "Hide? Yes, hide. Just like hide and seek. But you have to be very, very quiet." Lily nodded slowly, sensing her mother's urgency. Emily scooped her up and hurried to the small attic access in the hallway. She pushed Lily inside and climbed up after her, pulling. The door shut just as a loud crash echoed from the living room. They were inside. Emily clutched Lily to her chest, her hand over her daughter's mouth as footsteps thundered below. Her father shouted, "Get out of my house," followed by a sickening thud and a cry of pain. Emily bit back a sob. She wanted to go to him, to help, but she couldn't risk Lily's safety. Not now. Voices drifted up from below, two men, speaking in low, harsh tones. "Search everywhere, find the bag, and if they give you trouble." The rest of the sentence faded, but Emily didn't need to hear it. The meaning was clear. Her mind raced. Bag? What bag? She remembered the note, Michael's warning, "They want something I have." What had he left behind? And why did they think she had it? Emily held Lily close as tears burned her eyes. Downstairs, her mother screamed a sharp, terrified sound that was cut off suddenly. Emily's breath hitched. She pressed her lips to Lily's ear and whispered, barely audible, "Don't make a sound, no matter what." And then, the attic door creaked. The creak of the attic door was like a gunshot in the silence. Emily froze, her entire body trembling as Lily buried her face in her chest. She could hear the men below moving around, their heavy boots thudding against the floorboards, and then, a voice, chilling and close. "Emily, I know you're up there." Emily's heart stopped. The man's voice wasn't shouting. It was calm, almost amused. That was worse than anger. Calm meant confidence. "We don't want to hurt you," the man continued, his tone smooth, like poison. "We just want what Michael left. Hand it over, and we'll leave." Emily pressed her back against the attic wall, her breathing shallow. Her eyes darted around the small space-just boxes of old clothes. A few dusty toys, nothing that looked important. What bag? She whispered to herself. What had Michael done? Then she remembered. The old chest at the far end of the attic, the one she never opened because it was filled with things from her childhood, the past she had buried. She crawled toward it, careful not to make a sound. The wooden floor creaked softly beneath her knees. She flipped the lid open, dust swirling into the air. Inside were photo albums, stuffed animals, and a black duffel bag. Her stomach twisted. This must be it. Before she could unzip it, the attic door shook violently. "Enough games," the man barked. "Open up, or I swear." Emily didn't wait. She tore the zipper open. Inside, her breath caught stacks of cash, bundles wrapped tight with rubber bands. But that wasn't all. There were envelopes stuffed with documents, passports, IDs, and something that made her blood run cold. A gun. Emily stared at the weapon, her hands trembling. "Michael, what had you gotten into?" "Emily." The voice was a roar now. The attic door rattled as someone rammed it hard. Once, twice, splinters flew. It wouldn't hold much longer. Emily's mind raced. If they found her with the bag, they wouldn't let her live. They wouldn't let Lily live. She grabbed the gun with shaking hands. She'd never even touched one before. The cold metal felt alien against her skin. Could she do this? Could she kill someone if it meant saving her daughter? The door cracked. A hand shoved through, ripping at the wood. Emily aimed the gun, her arms trembling so violently she thought she might drop it. Then bang! The sound exploded in the small space, deafening her. Smoke filled the air. She wasn't sure if she'd pulled the trigger, or if it was the intruder's gun. But the man screamed and stumbled back down the ladder. Emily didn't wait to see. She snatched Lily, clutching her so tightly the child whimpered, and bolted toward the opposite end of the attic, where a small window led to the roof. She kicked it open, shards of glass scattering, and crawled out into the cold night air. Voices shouted behind her. Another gunshot rang out, splintering the wood where her head had been seconds before. Emily scrambled across the shingles hut, pounding, feet slipping on the steep slope. She reached the edge, looked down 10 feet to the ground. No time to think. She jumped. The landing knocked the breath out of her, but she held Lily tight, shielding her from the impact. Pain shot through her ankle, but she forced herself up and limped toward the woods behind the house. Behind her, the men stormed out the front door, shouting. One of them saw her and raised his gun. "Run, Lily." Emily gasped, shoving her daughter ahead as fast as her little legs could go, and then runs blazing, wailing, cutting through the night like salvation. Red and blue lights flashed across the trees as police cars screeched to a halt. Officers swarmed the yard, shouting commands. The men dropped their weapons and hit the ground. Emily collapsed, clutching Lily as tears streamed down her face. It was over, or so she thought. Hours later, at the station, Emily sat in a cold room clutching a blanket around Lily. A detective slid the black duffel bag onto the table. "Your brother," the detective said, his voice grave, "was involved in something big. These aren't just fake ID lists. They're linked to a major crime syndicate. He's not just missing, Emily. He's on the run." Emily stared at the bag, numb. Her parents sat silently across from her, their faces gray with shock. The detective leaned in. "If Michael contacts you, you call us. Because the people who came for you tonight, they weren't the only ones looking." Emily nodded slowly, holding Lily tighter. She thought it was over, but deep down, she knew this was just the beginning. And somewhere out there, her brother was watching.